This past week marked 1 year since my mom passed, and I thought I'd feel adjusted by now, but I don't. 6 months before my mom passed away, she got a heart surgery that replaced one of her valves, and she was essentially fully recovered. She was back exercising. She had always been healthy. She had always eaten well and exercised. And on the Saturday, right before I went home, I gave her a big hug, and early the next morning, she passed unexpectedly. And because of how healthy she was outside of the valve replacement, it was really unexpected. And the first few weeks especially, it just really felt surreal. It didn't feel real. And I hoped and thought at the time that that was something that was just going to pass, but that feeling hasn't gone away a year later. They say that you're the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with or hang around with. And for me, my mom was one of those 5 people. She was the person I would seek advice from. I would ask her opinion on things. I felt like she was really good at pointing out my blind spots. I felt that she was pretty good at helping me troubleshoot things where maybe I needed some guidance. And I find myself, even now, when something happens, I reach for my phone to text her to get her perspective, and that doesn't seem to have changed. I still find myself reaching for my phone, and as soon as I pick up my phone, that light bulb goes off where you go, yeah, I can't. There's no one on the other end of this phone. And there's just something really, it's not just that you've lost a person that you enjoyed being around, but that enhanced your life in so many different ways. And there's no replacing that. And as much as you think over that some amount of time is going to allow that feeling to subside, that grief to go away, it just doesn't. I find myself, when I see someone my age walking into a coffee shop with their mom or helping their mom doing something, all I think about is immediately like how lucky they are that they still have their mom in their life. And it's a really strange feeling because you just don't understand what it feels like to lose someone like that until it happens. And I have these recurring dreams where somehow in the dream she's somehow alive, and in the dream it sort of makes sense, like, oh, she's driving my van, or we're doing something, and the whole thing has just been like this joke. And in some of the dreams I'm half awake and I'm like, wait, we cremated you. How could you possibly be alive? And you just wake up at 3 a.m. It's the worst feeling. It feels like it just happened. And I've had probably 20 of those dreams at least, where somehow in the dream, the context is that she's back alive. And I had one a week ago. So it's not even something where it feels like it's dissipating. It's one of the most recurring dreams I've ever had in my life. And it's not one of those things where, I mean, I've experienced loss in other areas, and I've had other family, I've had uncles and aunts and grandparents pass, but it's not the same. Like, the thing I'm really starting to think about grief is that it's not ever going to go away. That gap, that space in my life that my mom occupied is never getting replaced by anything. And that moving on is just simply about accepting the fact that is always going to stay that way. That you're always going to have that empty feeling just going forward. There's not going to be something that replaces it. There's not going to be some new 5th person that gives you great advice and suddenly you just forget that person is no longer around. And it's a bitter pill to swallow because there's no bringing them back. There's nothing you can do that is going to change the reality of things. It's just this heavy weight that you just have to walk around with. And I mean, I know everyone's going to deal with these things differently. Some people, maybe, if you believe in some kind of afterlife, that they're in a better place. Maybe that helps you more. I don't know. Yeah, the last week was kind of a bit hard. It was a little bit of a less productive week than the previous few. I didn't really do much on the 1 year day. Just felt burned out a couple of days, and also just felt like the heaviness of it, because you feel like with a lot of grief or pain in your life, when things happen that you don't like, time always seems to heal, right? Time heals all wounds, they say. But the grief hasn't reduced in any kind of severity. You know, there's times when you just find yourself thinking about it, and it's just like this gut-wrenching feeling in your stomach, and it just does not seem to go away. And I don't expect that to change at all between year 1 and year 2, or even between year 1 and year 10. It sucks. It just sucks now. It's gonna keep sucking. And it's probably how someone would feel losing a limb, where you're not gonna just find yourself being like, well, I'm actually happier without this limb. No. You accept the fact that it's never coming back, but you're stuck with the situation you're in. And yeah, I mean, one of the big things that kind of helps me continue is that my mom was such a selfless person that me not being able to keep living my life would actually probably make her pissed off. Like, if she knew that, you know, let's say I just laid in bed all day and just gave up, she would be pissed. And because she really wanted like the best for me and my siblings, and she was just really amazing like that. And it's kind of the duality of, like, when I think about her, or when I, you know, she liked these really small things. Like, she liked these pens that were like 1.5 inches, 2 inches long, and she liked just little tiny espresso cups, like espresso mugs that were like 1 ounce. Like, that was, so when I see those kind of things now, it reminds me of her and it makes me feel happy. But at the same time, you know, when you have an achievement in your life now, or when I have an achievement in my life now, I should say, and she was one of the people that I was always going to tell first, because she was so authentically happy for that happening for me. And I don't get that ever again. So it's a bittersweet week for me right now. I feel like a lot of my life has improved over the past year, but I thought that her passing was decades away. And 66 just seems extremely young for how healthy she was. The doctors, you know, within a few days of her passing, had talked about all of her levels were incredible. She basically recovered 100% from the surgery she got. And to just die unexpectedly out of nowhere, a week after her birthday, no less, is just, you know, it's traumatic, I think, is really the only word that fits. So, I don't know. If you're dealing with something like this, or if you've had to deal with this in the past, I mean, maybe you know what this is like, and maybe you have, learned some skills to dealing with it. I don't know if I have learned enough. Maybe there's a way to look at all this where you can actually somehow compartmentalize it or wrap your head around it in a way that you can kind of get a little bit of closure. But I don't honestly think that I have. And a year later, I don't know if I ever will. So, that's all I got for this week, guys.